So, Namaskar. Good evening to all of you. We welcome you all to Women Calling seminar under the flagship of the Spirit of Dance Festival by Alaknanda Institute of Performing Arts. Alaknanda Institute for Performing Arts, profoundly known as AIPA, was established in 1990 by Nityashi Alaknanda, and she has worked diligently for it to preserve our pure and traditional art forms through various ways, such as education and training of students throughout the globe. She has prepared and has been sending students throughout the globe for cultural benefits to countries such as Poland, France, Bulgaria, Hungary, and they have been nurturing students as Indian cultural ambassadors. Organizing the Spirit of Dance Festival in India since 2010. This is our 14th edition, which we are commencing today. Nityashi Alaknanda is the founder director of AIPA and has been successfully running AIPA since past 30 years. She has been promoting various art forms through her festivals and productions. She is a beacon of hope and positivity for students and everywhere. She has taught us that passion, dedication, and positive spirit is that can break any obstacle throughout your life. She has been organizing various seminars relating to art forms and society, and she decided to host this seminar today after her own battle with cancer. Today, we welcome our panelists and esteemed speakers, Dr. Zulka, Dr. Kanika Modi Batra, and cancer survivor with us, Ms. Radhika Chopra. Because you know what, prioritizing your health isn't selfish at all. It's self-respect, women. Remember, you can't pour from an empty cup at the end of the day. So before calling our esteemed speakers, I would like to tell you a little bit about them. So talking about Padma Shri Dr. Pramod Kumar Zulka. He's an oncologist, author, researcher on cancer, and a medical educationalist. Dr. P.K. Zulka has a rich career spanning decades, dedicated to research and treatment of cancer. He is best known for performing the first peripheral blood stem cell transplant following high-dose chemotherapy in metastatic breast cancer in India, and hence secured a record in the Limca Book of Records, 1998. For his various contributions in the field of medicine, he has been awarded several times in his career. He is a recipient of Padma Shri in 2013, which is the India's fourth highest civilian award. He received Leading Scientist of the World 2005 award by International Biographical Centre of Cambridge. Lifetime Achievement Award by Association of Radiation Oncologists of India, and in 2013, and many more awards from Indian medical associations, including a gold medal in preventive oncology in 1995. So I think this list can go on and on, but just to sum up, Mr. Zulka has been a medical professor other than that, and to his credit, he has a vast literature on cancer research methodology, including 2 books on performing clinical trials. He is the recipient of WHO fellowship at MD Anderson Hospital, Houston, Texas, and Long Beach Memorial Center, Long Beach, California, USA in 1995. He is currently the Senior Director at Max Oncology Daycare Center and continues his journey in the field of cancer and medicine through his expertise. We are immensely grateful for him taking out time today to be with us and share his valuable insights with us. So if I could please call upon Dr. Zulka with us today. I'd also like to call upon Nityashi Alaknanda to felicitate Dr. Zulka. Now coming to our second esteemed speaker today, Dr. Kanika Modi Batra. She's a gynecologist, oncologist, with training from the finest institutes like Rajiv Gandhi Cancer Institute and Research Center, New Delhi. She has been awarded prestigious IGCS fellowship, which she pursued at the Royal Hospital for Women, Sydney, and was awarded the ESGO fellowship for training at KEM Hospital, Germany. She is also a certified robotic and laparoscopic surgeon for gynecologist oncologist procedures, specializing in radical surgeries for cervical cancer, ovary cancer, vaginal cancer, vulvar cancer. She is actively involved in research work and has published in various national and international journals, involved in multiple awareness campaigns for cancer, and is passionate to help women understand the early signs and symptoms. And she has been the one who has been treating our guru, and we can see her standing here today. It's all because of these amazing doctors today. So we welcome Dr. Kanika Modi Bhattacharya.
Thank you all.
And lastly, our doctors are not known if not for their survivors, for the true heroes who come out and speak out. And today we are truly delighted to have Miss Radhika Chopra. Sorry. Manak, I'm so sorry. Who's a breast cancer survivor. She is a support program coordinator and patient representative of Max Oncology. We welcome her today. I would request Didi along with the guests to please light the lamp and start the seminar. I would now request Dr. P.K. Zulkar to please start off the session for us.
Good afternoon. I think it's a great pleasure to speak at such an event where, we see all the people who have, empowered, who have been empowered with the massive disease which we used to call it people used to call it a death warrant. And I always used to say this is curable and cancer is not a death warrant. It is curable if detected early, otherwise also it is curable in most of the cases. Now, I'll just share a few slides because they had sent a few slides. Even though I just wanted to highlight the number of new cases in 2022, both sexes, all ages. If you see new cancer cases, 20 million, and males 10.3 million and females 9.7 million. And the commonest cancer in females is breast cancer. Lung cancer commonest in males. So all these cancers, if you see the number of deaths in 22, both sexes, total deaths 9.7 million, and males form 5.4 million and females 4.3 million. You can see the enormous scenario. Now, what about people call that we have all faulty genes? We don't call them faulty genes. There are two types of genes. One are tumor suppressor genes and one are, oncogenes which promote the tumor. So cancer refers to uncontrolled growth of cells that are the basic building blocks of human body. And this happens due to abnormal changes, or we call it mutations, in the DNA of a gene during the process of cell division. Now, mutations may be caused by various natural processes or by various other risk factors such as tobacco smoking, radiation exposure, ultraviolet radiation, unhealthy diet, and certain chemicals in our environment. Now, sometimes people inherit certain faulty genes from their parents, which puts them at increased risk of developing cancer. That is, I'm talking about BRCA1 or BRCA2. The immune system can detect and repair these mutations. If these mutations cannot be repaired, the immune system sends a message to the cells, telling them to die via a process called programmed cell death, which in our terminology we call it apoptosis. However, sometimes cells do not die and mutations are not repaired, leading to the uncontrolled multiplication of cells and the development of cancer. Now, as I told you, it's a proliferation of cells growing in various unregulated growth, lack of differentiation, can develop in any tissue or organ at any age. No age is barred from cancer, right from the beginning when the child is born up to the end of life. And most cancers are potentially curable if detected early. That is the important message. More than 4 in 10 cancers and cancer deaths are linked to modifiable risk factors. According to research study, about 42% of the cancer cases and 45% of cancer deaths are linked to modifiable risk factors and thus could be preventable. Now, let me tell you that at AIIMS, I was the head of Delhi Cancer Registry, and we have a national cancer registry now, which says that we have 15 million new cancer cases, 14 to 15 million new cancer cases every year in India, out of which 40 to 50% are tobacco related. 10%, less than 10% are related to our genes, which we call it familial or hereditary cancers. And the rest is the lifestyle and certain infections, HPV or HIV or other viral infections. Now, primary cancer prevention, we always say that aim to prevent the disease before it occurs. They are both modifiable and non-modifiable risk factors linked to occurrence of certain cancers, and modifiable include smoking cessation. I think smoking takes a big toll on all these diseases, including heart disease. Maintaining a healthy body weight, physical activity, again it's very important. physical activity is very important every day. Non-modifiable risk factors are responsible for certain familial cancers. For example, a woman with a positive family history is around 2 to 3 times more likely to get breast cancer than a woman without a family history. Now, all these are modifiable risk factors: cigarette smoking, excess body weight, drinking alcohol, eating red and processed meat, imbalanced diet, physical inactivity, ultraviolet radiation from the sun, and cancer associated infections, which I was telling you about, HPV, human papilloma virus, or HIV infections. So these are about just smoking, whether it is to smokeless tobacco or smoking tobacco, both are equally dangerous. Excess body weight is again dangerous. Drinking alcohol, eating red and processed meat, all these are the factors which lead to cancer. An imbalanced diet or physical inactivity, again these are very important. Ultraviolet radiation from the sun and cancer associated infections, as I told you, H. pylori, HBV, hepatitis B, C, HIV and HPV, human papilloma virus. The focus should be to get vaccinated at the right time, undergo regular organized screening. And non-modifiable, as I told you about genetic tests, are available for estimating the lifetime risk of developing various cancers such as breast, ovary, colon, thyroid, prostate cancer, pancreatic cancer, melanoma, sarcoma, kidney cancer and stomach cancer, all these cancers. Secondary prevention is early detection. And early detection we can do for breast cancer screening, or we can have for cervical cancer, which you will be hearing later on, colorectal cancer, prostate cancer, PSA going high. A lot of people are coming with prostate cancer nowadays. And India is again becoming the hub. Now, saying an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure is very pertinent in the context of cancer prevention and early detection. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for your valuable insights. We'll definitely keep in mind that it's not only genetics but the lifestyle also that we have to keep in mind. Next, I would like to call Dr. Kanika Modi Batra for fighting the cancer awareness war that she is doing with us.
Thank you so much, and a very good evening to everyone. And I would like to thank Alaknanda ji for organizing this. Basically, she wanted me to give a health talk pertaining to women as to what are their risks, so that if there is any chance that other women do not go through this, and if there is any way we can detect things early, prevent them. So that is what this is going to be about. A lot of it Dr. Julka has covered as to how cancer occurs and what are the risk factors, and we'll mostly cover the preventive strategies now. So I'll just skip through the slides. We know cancer cases are rising and the incidences are high, and if you look at the latest statistics, there is the UK statistics, they say 1 in 3 develop cancer currently. 33% risk, that's phenomenally high. And in India also, we have lesser reporting over here, but we do have certain programs through which the reporting is now increasing, and the number of cases are definitely on the rise. That is A, because cancers per se are increasing, B, because reporting is increasing. So cancer cells are basically cells which divide in an uncontrolled way. Do we have a pointer here? So as you can see over here, these uncontrolled cells.
Take the hands free.
Okay. So we can just. So these cells, they are normal, and cancer cells, they just divide too fast. So what happens is, if suppose there is cancer in the liver, it just keeps on dividing over there. So what is the issue? It destroys the normal cells. It is feeding upon the same nutrients that a normal cell needs, because a normal cell has got its own function and they die. But these cancer cells, they keep on growing and they do not die, and they keep spreading. That is when the problem occurs. And they can affect all parts of our body from tip to toe. So incidences and everything Dr. Julka has very nicely covered. I'll skip through it. So what causes cancer? Apart from tobacco, alcohol, pollution, obesity, cell phones and tight clothing, they do not cause cancer. So multi-stage model of carcinogenesis is very, technical. We can skip through this. Let's talk about what we have in our hands. I know this is very cliche stuff, still reiterating it in our heads can make more sense. Smoking can cause 14 types of cancers, from your mouth to larynx to lungs, even to leukemia and cervix cancer. Active and passive smoking both. So the unburned hydrocarbons that are there, they can affect all these parts of our body, and a positive association has been seen. Alcohol. So initially we used to say that some amount of alcohol is okay. You can drink moderately. Very recently there has been a publication in the Lancet, after which I ask all my patients to please skip on your cocktails and restrict to mocktails. No amount of alcohol is safe. So obesity. Being overweight can cause all these number of cancers, because usually obesity is associated with diabetes and hypertension. So all these things, when they come together, there is this inflammatory milieu that happens inside the body. That is why all these cancers can occur. So what are the symptoms, the early symptoms of cancer? So any change in your bowel or bladder habits that is persisting can possibly be because of some form of mass that is there, that is pushing on the bladder or on the rectum. A sore that does not heal. All of us can have sores. कुछ भी छोटा मोटा छाला वाला हर कहीं भी हो जाता है, but जो heal ही नहीं हो रहा है. Problematic. 3-4 weeks हो गए, heal ही नहीं हो रहा है. Unusual bleeding कहीं से भी हो रही है, from any of the orifices, or a discharge. Please take it seriously and see a healthcare professional. कोई thickening या lump in the breast or anywhere else. Then indigestion or difficulty in swallowing. Any obvious change in water moles. Water mole a lot of us have, but if there is sudden increase in size, sudden redness around it and all those changes, please show your healthcare provider. Or a nagging cough or hoarseness which is not going. 4 weeks ho gaye, the cough hasn't gone. Now specifically for women, we talk about breast cancer. What can be the symptoms of breast cancer? This is a very important slide. And any dimple or depressed skin, or if there is any visible lump that you can see on the breast, or if there is any nipple change or inversion, like the nipple goes inside, or if there is a bloody discharge, or if there is a texture change. This texture change is typically like an orange peel skin. We call it powdery orange. Or if there is a color change. All these can be symptoms of an underlying breast tumor. Then oral cancers. So what symptoms can it have? Ulcers, patches or lumps. So yes, cancer, if detected early stage, is pretty much to the extent curable in large settings. And we have so many cancer survivors who are living now, as you can see, that it is doubled from how it was in the 1970s. And if detected in the early stage 0, stage 1, we can see we have close to 100% survival rates. And it's a team effort with not just, like I am a surgeon, Dr. Julka is a medical oncologist, there are radiation oncologists, there are dietary people, there are psychologists, there are occupational therapists, then there are physiotherapists, nutritionists, pathologists, radiologists. All of us, we have a team who work together to get our patients back into their routines. And there are so many, options are available. We have molecular oncologists now who can, specifically tell us what targeted therapy can be given. Immunotherapies are there, bone marrow transplants are there, just to talk about that. So if we want to reduce our risks, we obviously need to give up on tobacco, all forms. I know a lot of us do get cancers despite not smoking or drinking. I do understand that. Yet, everything we do not understand why somebody gets cancer. But certain things we know that this causes cancer. So why not reduce that? So not smoking, making your home smoke-free, enjoying a healthy diet, then breastfeeding in women is also protective. Vaccination is available against hepatitis B and HPV. We're going to talk in detail about this. Then, avoiding too much sun protection. That's not much of an issue with Indians as such because we have a lot of melanin on our skins. Then reducing indoor and outdoor air pollutions, being physically active, limiting alcohol intake, and taking part in organized cancer screening programs. So what constitutes a healthy diet? Vegetables, fruits, whole grain foods like brown bread, brown rice, rolled oats, healthy proteins in pulses, fish, chicken, eggs. And we need to cut down on processed and red meat because it is associated with colorectal cancer. A high calorie food, sugary drinks, all of them are basically known to be associated with producing an inflammatory state in your body which can possibly lead to cancer. We all know exercise is important, but exercising reduces your risks of all these cancer by these many percentages. So we need to get the ball rolling on that. So is cancer contagious? How many of you think cancer is contagious? None of us. So let's talk about breast self-examination now. This is a 6 method, monthly self-breast examination method, in which a woman needs to stand before a mirror. You can find this on Google, monthly self-breast examination, 1 to 6. You need to do it just once in a month. Standing before the mirror, there are these poses that you need to take because the muscles below the breast tissue, we need to activate them so that we do not miss anything. Then 1 to 3 is just looking. 4 to 6 is basically we need to exactly palpate the breast tissue also. And the guidelines for breast examination is from the age of 20 plus. We need to do it monthly. Then every woman over the age of 40 needs to get a mammogram also. And if you have a high risk, then an MRI would also help. Talking about cervical cancer now. It's one of the really common gynecological malignancies, and it's a leading cause of death in women worldwide. It is associated with human papilloma virus, specific strains which are high risk. They are known to cause cervical cancer. So cervix is basically this lower part of the uterus. This is the uterus, this is the cervix. So why do we talk so much about it? A, we have a vaccine. B, we have a very good preventive screening method, which is basically detection of those cells that are shed out from the cervix in the form of pap smear, and an HPV testing, human papilloma virus testing. So the screening should begin after the age of 21 years. And these are the basic guidelines that are from 21 to 29, a pap smear needs to be done every 3 years. And after the age of 30, we need to combine it with an HPV testing every 5 years. All this needs to continue just till 65 years of age. And yes, this is extremely helpful. It can detect cervical cancer, pre-cancerous lesions you can detect and prevent from cancer development. So this is something very doable and we all should invest in. We also have the HPV vaccines. We have a newly launched Gardasil 9 now, which is protective against 9 strains of HPV virus. And they need to be given either in a 2-dose or 3-dose regimen. Younger women before the age of 15, girls before the age of 15 years, they need to take 2 doses only. Over the age of 15, 3 doses are recommended. So some take-home messages. No tobacco, avoid alcohol, exercise daily, lead a healthy lifestyle, do not ignore any of the unexplained symptoms, be aware and spread awareness. Some myths that we can debunk: it occurs only in the elderly, not at all. We've seen, even newborns get cancer. Happens only if you have a family history, not at all. Less than 5% cancers happen with a family history, 95% occur without any family history. No pain means no cancer? No. Cancers are mostly painless. We don't have to wait for pain. Superfoods can prevent cancer. We don't know what can prevent cancer in terms of food. Biopsy spread cancer. It's a very common myth. Not at all. Biopsy is the standard mode through which we diagnose what kind of cancer is it. So except for puncturing the gallbladder and the ovary, we mostly biopsy all kinds of cancers. And cancer is definitely not a death sentence. It's just a, speed breaker in one's life where one pauses and comes out even more activated. Every lump is not cancer and cancer is not contagious. So let's join our hands against this war against cancer. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, with the children, there's a lot of confusion that when they should take the vaccination for the cervical cancer. So there's still a lot of confusion and parents don't know what to do. So if you could just elaborate on that.
So girls starting from the age of 11 years can take HPV virus vaccine. Gardasil 9 is the vaccine. It's highly recommended. 11 to 15 years, only 2 doses are needed. Beyond the age of 15 years, 3 doses are needed. So that is what the take-home message for HPV vaccine is.
So the mother should take the child above 11.
Yeah, 11 and
Or
above.
gynae.
To pediatrician also, physician also, anybody can give the vaccine. Till what age is controversial, but till 45 one can.
And like people like us who had already had cancer and we do not fear from that.
That's my question also. Yes.
I'm Sangeeta, which has gone through breast cancer 2020, and this is my question also about the vaccine. Do we go in for the vaccine? Now I'm 63, I turned 63 now, yes. So we don't.
So it's a very, case-based scenario kind of a thing. Beyond the age of 25, I am really cautious in advising the vaccine. What I tell women is to invest in your pap smear and your HPV testing rather than the vaccine. Because it's like, any other kind of viral infection, like an influenza infection. Most of us would have already had it and developed an immunity from it. It's just a virus infection. So vaccine would be less effective. Idea is to keep getting your pap smear and HPV testing.
And I'm very thankful to the Max faculty completely, because my dad was also here in Max. He unfortunately passed away in 2020, but he went through oral cancer and he lived for certain years. Dr. Chulka was also his doctor. And I think I know everybody from Dr. Chaturvedi because my mother was a cervical cancer patient, but she survived for 72 years, right up to 86. We just saw her pass away right now. Yes, thank you. So I carry the gene of cancer. Any precautions? Because I
What
lead a very
gene?
healthy cancer, because both the parents were.
No, it's not
fine.
necessary.
It's
Oral
fine.
cancer and cervical cancer are not hereditary. What do you say, Dr. Chulka?
They are not hereditary. Basically what I told you about the genes we have, BRCA1, BRCA2, and 7 other genes which are responsible for breast ovarian cancer. Not for this.
Lucky. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, doctor, for breaking so many myths. And I think the key takeaway is definitely to be aware and spread awareness at the end of the day. So I would request everybody to just, girls especially, to do breast self-examination at least monthly, and be aware of your body, and send the same message to your friends, to your sisters, and people around you. And next now we have Ms. Radhika Manaktala, who is one of the breast cancer survivor. It will be definitely very valuable to know her insights and her journey through this, whole, disease which we call life-threatening but isn't at the end of the day. So we welcome her.
Thank you. First and foremost, thank you to Alaknanda for inviting me here to do this. So just now you heard Dr. Julka and Dr. Kanika, they told you about the medical side of cancer. And I will tell you from the patient side. So as you know, I run the support program here for Max Cancer, and in my work I meet with a lot of people, men and women, who are patients, who are survivors, and who are caregivers. I myself am a survivor. So I will talk mainly about the women whom I meet, because आज का हमारा जो theme है, it is based on women. So I will talk mainly about the women. But before I do that, let me begin by telling you a little bit about my own journey, because what I do today, that starting point was where I started my journey. So in my family there are lots of doctors and oncologists bhi hai beech mein. So the thing is, we are all very matter of fact, we are all very health is of prime importance to everybody, and we are all very particular about our medical checkups and also screening for cancer. So in addition to doing the scans, etc., I was also fairly regular with the self-breast examination, which Dr. Kanika has just been talking about. And अगर हम इसको ना correctly करें, regularly करें, it can help to detect a lump or any other breast changes at a very early stage. That is how I found the lump. अब क्योंकि इतने सारे doctors हैं, so बड़ा matter of fact approach था. Yeah, we do have our share of emotional ups and downs. I'm not saying that we don't, but because of the doctors, we are all fairly resilient, we're all fairly practical. तो lump मिला है तो उसकी तुरंत investigation भी होनी चाहिए और उसको तुरंत medical advice भी लेनी चाहिए. So from the moment that, from the day that I discovered the lump to the day that it was surgically removed, and surgery was the first part of my treatment, it was less than 2 weeks. और वो भी बीच में 15 अगस्त आ गई थी तो एक दो दिन छुट्टी वहाँ हो गई थी, otherwise it might have happened even earlier. So after surgery, I went through chemotherapy, I went through radiotherapy, I went through targeted therapy and also hormone therapy. The works. I've been through all of it, and I won't go into the details of that because that would be just all very statistical, very boring kind of thing. But while I was in treatment, people would come to me and say, "You don't look like a cancer patient." और ये बात ना मुझे बहुत खटकती थी. I used to say कि हम ये तो नहीं बोलते you don't look like a heart patient. हम ये तो नहीं बोलते you don't look diabetic. Then why do we stereotype someone who has cancer? Now one day I was sitting I was having chemo in the daycare, and my friend was sitting with me. And this friend had herself been through treatment about a year or so earlier. तो हम किसी बात पे हंस रहे थे. And this lady comes up to me and she says, "आपको कैंसर है क्या?" I said, "हाँ." तो आपकी कीमो चल रही है क्या? I said, "हाँ." तो फिर आप हंस क्यों रही हैं? आपको तो डिप्रेस होना चाहिए. आपको डिप्रेस होना चाहिए. And that is when my friend and I thought, is there something we can do to bring about a change in people's attitudes, a shift in sort of this kind of perception? So we started talking to the others who were there on treatment to the patients themselves and to their caregivers. And when they realized that here there is a fellow patient who's still under treatment, with her there is somebody who's recently finished treatment, there was an immediate connect. They started talking to us, they started sharing their anxieties, they started sharing their, the challenges they were facing, their experiences, they were listening to us. And somewhere in this exchange, we could feel a sense of belonging, a sense of people coming together because of a commonality. And also there was a decrease in anxiety levels and an increase in hope, in confidence. Not just theirs, but ours as well. So that is how the support program took root and it began to grow. And over the years, it has now become the form that it is in now, where we reach out to people from almost all cancers. And it is an integral part of the care that is provided at our center. So it is through this work that I meet with a lot of women from all different walks of life. And what I'm going to tell you now is just broad generalizations, because we can't, all women are different, people come from different backgrounds, people have different ways of thinking, different attitudes, circumstances alag hote hain, so naturally journeys and stories bhi alag hi hoti hain. You can't have the same sort of thing. But broadly speaking, एक बात जो बार-बार सामने आती है, वो यह है कि that we women tend to neglect ourselves. For us, home, husbands, बच्चे, careers, in-laws, ये सब पहले आते हैं. And somewhere down the line, we think about ourselves. And even when we're thinking about ourselves, we are not very regular with our medical checkups. And for cancer screening, even less so. So इसकी कई वजहें होती हैं. The more women you talk to, the more reasons you will get. But some that are repeated very frequently. एक तो है, मैंने तो कभी सोचा ही नहीं था कि मुझे भी कैंसर हो सकता है. मैंने इस बीमारी को ध्यान भी नहीं दिया था. मैं एक दो जनों को जानती हूँ जिन्हें कैंसर था, पर ये क्या मुझे होगा, ये तो मैं यकीन भी नहीं कर सकती. मुझे अभी भी यकीन नहीं हो रहा है. Then I hear, well, I've always had a very healthy lifestyle. I eat well, I exercise regularly, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I've never put on weight. Nobody in my family has cancer. So how was I to dream that I could get it? Well, a healthy lifestyle might certainly reduce your risk of cancer, but it doesn't make it zero. And I here am a perfect example of that. I always had a healthy lifestyle, good diet, exercise regularly, weight always under control, no smoking, no drinking. That was before the Lancet thing came out, where a glass of wine didn't matter, an occasional glass of wine wasn't counted as drinking. And no history of cancer in the family for as far back as anyone can remember. But here I am. फिर मुझे ये भी सुनने को मिलता है कि मैं तो स्क्रीनिंग कराना चाहती थी, पर मेरे घर वालों ने मना कर दिया. उन्होंने बोला ये मीडिया वाले, ये मेडिकल वाले, ये हर बीमारी को ना हाइप करके बड़ा चढ़ा के बनाते हैं, आपको कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. Why are you getting so worried? ऐसे फालतू में पैसे मत खर्च, कुछ नहीं होगा. And then perhaps the most compelling reason of all, suppose they find something, the fear factor, कि कहीं कुछ उन्हें मिल ना जाए, इससे तो अच्छा है स्क्रीनिंग मत करो. And then there are women who, despite having symptoms, will delay coming in to seek medical advice. They will delay coming to see the doctor. इसके भी भाई बहुत reasons होती हैं. मैंने तो सोचा था कुछ खास नहीं, अपने आप ठीक हो जाएगा. या फिर मेरे बेटे के एग्ज़ाम चल रहे थे, मैंने सोचा एग्ज़ाम ख़त्म होंगे उसके बाद जाऊंगी. फिर दिवाली आ गई. आपको तो पता है दिवाली में कितना काम होता है घर में. अब वो दिवाली ख़त्म होती, फिर मैं चली जाती, तो फिर चाचा की बेटी की शादी आ गई. And so on and so forth, delay, postpone. Then I also hear things like मैंने 1-2 साल तो होम्योपैथी ट्राई की, आयुर्वेद ट्राई किया, ये किया वो किया. पहले तो बहुत आराम आया, फिर उसके बाद एकदम से बीमारी बढ़ गई. I have also heard कि मैंने अपने हस्बैंड से बात की, उन्होंने कहा तुम टीवी ज़्यादा देखती हो, तुम्हें वहम हो गया है, कुछ भी नहीं है, तुम्हें कोई शादी की ज़रूरत नहीं है. And finally again, the fear factor. Suppose the doctor says it is cancer. So in this fear, they delay till the symptoms become so severe that they have no choice but to come in. And sometimes by then, the disease has progressed and the treatment becomes a little complicated. So this is by no means all the women that we meet. I'm making very broad generalizations over here. There are women who, who go in for regular checkups. There are women who will seek medical advice if necessary. And then there are women in the middle who are balanced. They take a balanced approach. But my point here is that, as Dr. Julka was saying and Dr. Kanika has also repeated the same thing, if cancer is detected early, it is fully treatable, the treatment is doable, and the risk of recurrence is minimal. Again, once here, I will give you my own example. You know about my journey, you know about my treatment, and I am standing here talking to all of you almost 10 years later. And so this is not just 10 years, there are women who completed 12 years, 15 years, Dr. Julka will tell you 25 years, 30 years, 30 years. So do make your health a priority, take your health in your own hands, stay well, stay healthy.
Thank you so much, Ms. Radhika, for your valuable inputs. I'm sure everybody agrees that at the end of the day, you need to empower yourself. You need to invest the time. You need to do the effort, and definitely you're worth the investment for yourself. So it is time that you prioritize yourself. And as she correctly said, it's not the end of the world. And we have seen our guru herself who has been performing throughout her therapies, throughout her chemo, and even days before we knew she was diagnosed with pneumonia. We got to know it later actually, but she did dance during that time. So definitely that's the spirit of our whole festival of our guru, who has been dancing throughout her cancer treatment, throughout her journey itself. And having taken from that, this is not only a seminar to talk about what to prevent, how to go about it, but it's also to celebrate life at the end of the day. So here we have few of our dancers, wherein these are the winners of Sanskriti Pratibha Utsav. SPU is a platform which collaborates young artists in a competition. It's been running since 9 years now, and since COVID, it's been online, wherein all people from all over the globe have been coming together to at a platform where they can perform various art forms, be it Kathak, Odissi, or music. So this is our core, spirit there, that we do not stop at all. So today we'll have our winners performing for you guys. The first group that is performing today is from the Kalakulam Academy, who are the winners of the Kathak Junior category first prize. I welcome them today. Just adding on, they are also the disciples of Dr. Garima.
Braj mein Rav Lala गावत हिल मिल मृदंग बजावत गावत हिल मिल मृदंग बजावत निरतक सब मृगबाला रास नगराला रास राधा काना संग संग दो राधा काना संग संग दो शोभित मगर गावत नील नील मृदंग बजावत गावत नील नील मृदंग बजावत निरतक सब मृगबाला रास नगलाला रास
Thank you, you lovely girls, for the beautiful performance. Next, we have Himali Singh, who is from the Kathak Junior Solo category, who have won the second prize. Next, we have Naina Madan from the Odissi Senior Solo category, who have won the first prize. Thank you, Nana, for the energetic yet a very elegant performance. Next, we have Kevli Jain and Miraya from the category of Kathak Junior Duet, who have won the first prize. so much. That was an amazing footwork and an amazing coordination, definitely. Next, we have Anshika, who's from the Kathak professional category, who has won the first prize.
Sana
Thank you, Anshika, for the beautiful performance. Next up, we have Arunima Singh, who is the first prize winner from the semi-classical duet solo category.
ये टेढ़ा है एक्चुअली दैट इज व्हाई
আকাশের মতো আঁখি আকাশের মতো আঁখি মগন বরিশনে শ্রাবণ ঘনায় দুজনে শ্রাবণ ঘনায় দুজনে বিষাদ বিধুর মনে স্মৃতিরা অধীর আকাশ বুঝি ছড়ালো সীমানা বিষাদ বিধুর মনে স্মৃতিরা অধীর আকাশ আজ ছড়ালো সীমানা ছায়া ছায়া ভাসে ছবি ছায়া ছায়া ভাসে ছবি তার মনে শ্রাবণ ঘনায় দুজনে শ্রাবণ ঘনায় দুজনে আকাশের মতো আছি মরণ বরিশনে শ্রাবণ ঘনায় শ্রাবণ ঘনায় শ্রাবণ ঘনায়।
Thank you, Arunma, for the beautiful performance. Next up, we have Taja Bhattacharya, who is the first prize winner in the Odissi Senior Solo category.
Sana
Thank you, Dada, for this graceful performance. Next up, we have the last performance of the evening by the IPA Sanskriti troupe, where they are the recipient of the first prize in the Kathak professional category. Thank you for the dhamakedar performance at the end. Now I would like to call upon Mr. Shri Alaknanda to felicitate our two awardees of SPU. I would also like to call upon Kalakulam Academy winners, the Kathak Junior Group first prize, and Kevli Jain and Miraya from the Kathak Junior Duet category.
I'd like to thank also. I would like to thank Dr. Zulka for coming for today's seminar and enlightening us with his views, and more that we have heard, and now it's going to go online, sir. This will open eyes for many people, and Dr. Kanika Batra for again sharing all her experiences and her knowledge with all of us, because it's very important for the women to prioritize themselves and know that we have to take care of ourselves if we want to take care of our families better and this world better. And also to Radhika ji for sharing her experiences, because it's always that she's on this side of the stage and I'm on the other side of the stage when I come for those Max sessions and our get-togethers. But it is lovely to see you talking about your experiences, because there are a lot of people who come to you sharing their troubles and their problems. And I really thank you, Dr. Zulka and Dr. Kanika, for giving me this second lease of life. And you know how crazy I am and taking in all my madness and craziness with all the medications that I've gone through. And thanks to Max Saket and Dr. Kanika Batra Modi for this seminar, because this wouldn't have been possible if she wouldn't have held my hand in this association also, and Max Saket to have associated with Alaknanda Institute and given us the opportunity to showcase the importance of women health, and also to bring all these little dancers on the stage who are the future of our India, they are the global citizens. Thank you so much. And let's give out prize to our little ones who did not get it earlier and they had lovely performance. I would like the guru to come on stage also. Okay, first we give it to the group, and I would like the, so we'll give it to the guru for all the patience and hard work they have taught, she has given to her children. A guru gives her youth, her knowledge, her patience and hard work. So this is for you, Dr. Garima. For all of you, मैं आपके गुरु को दे दूँ? How can you go empty-handed, है ना? And the next present of Guru Kogi, Juvan. So this I'll give it to Guru Kogi. And we had a little girl, Himali, also. इससे कैंसर ही होगा ना Hello, congratulations, lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Before we end today's session, I'd like to just see you off all with a poetry from our Guru Alaknanda. She has written it for the women, by the women, on the occasion of celebrating our 14th Spirit of Dance. Here it goes. Meet the women in you in Chandani. If you think you know me enough, think again and again. I evolve like a moon, from no to full, acknowledging myself every moment. I'm aware of myself and my faults. I rise again to stand tall. I make the calls and hear no one now. It's my life, my way. If you want to know, do it from afar and away. Cause it's my time to arrive, to be born, to rise again. With my dreams on fire, I didn't know what I was until I was born to be. Today I'm aware of my deeds. Fearless of the intimacy, fearless of the love. And definitely self-love for all of us. So see you all on 11th May at Kamani Auditorium with the finale of the Spirit of Dance Festival. Thank you everyone. Have a good night.
Okay, everybody on this stage will have a group picture. All the participants, everybody. Parents also, grandparents Parents and grandparents also. IPA people also, the whole team of IPA, thank you so much. I love you all. Come, come, come. Both my doctors in hand. थोड़ा सा ऐसे हो जाओ। नहीं यार खड़ी हो इसलिए मैं नहीं बैठूंगी। आस-पास थोड़ा सा पीछे। संगीत का मैनेज राइट? आजा। Say cheese.
Look here, everybody, look here.
Once again for Sangeeta. अरे गरबा सबका ब्लॉक कर दिया। ये भी है। ये पूरा नीचे वाला टीम मेरा है। I love you all girls.
Now say cheese, everybody.
आप खड़े हो जाओ फिर।
Everyone smile, kids smile.
Okay.
Say cheese.
Three cheers for my doctors. Hip hip. Hooray! Hip hip. Hooray! Three cheers for Max Hospital. Hip hip. Hooray! Hip hip. Hooray! And three cheers for iPilot's team. Hip hip. Hooray! Hip hip.
गरिमा के साथ देखा तुमने गरिमा
गिव गिव अच्छा नीचे आ रहे 2
You were very good. Very cute. किससे सीख रहे हो बेटा? Where you learning from?
She's in Noida, I mean, the institute.
In Noida.